I just got sufficiently creeped out on my last hiking adventure a few minutes ago. I went to a beautiful waterfall called Myra Falls. It goes down several different levels through the shifting of tectonic plates. It's an amazingly wonderful place that I will be sharing pictures on the Nature Affinity Facebook page. Or you can look up Myra Falls in Strathcona Provincial Park online. There's pictures available there. However, so I was hiking in this park, and the trail at Lower Myra Falls goes way down this steep hill until you get to the waterfall. And as soon as I started driving into the parking area off the highway, I started feeling these pins and needles all the way up and down my body. I knew then I wasn't alone. If you think about it, you feel into and become sensitive to the energy. You can always tell if there's a spirit or entity that wants to be mischievous or play with you in some way, shape, or form, and I definitely did feel that. I do a lot of hiking by myself, and so I'm no stranger to the feeling of when animals show up, like a cougar or a bear. It feels different. The energy of the animals, way more comfortable with that. Even though a lot of people are not comfortable with bears and cougars, I see them as my brothers and sisters of the forest, and we share the wilderness together. Because I go hiking by myself all the time. Whether it be because I just want my own solitude, or because I don't, I try to ask people if they want to join me a lot of the time, but it just doesn't end up working out. So my options are either number one, don't go, which is unacceptable, or number two, go by myself. So back to the story of how I got creeped out at Myra Falls. It's not the first time, by the way. It seems to be an interestingly charged area of energy. So I'm walking down the trail, and there's a fork in the path where the path keeps going down to the lower lookout, or it goes over this way to the upper lookout. So I take the fork to the upper lookout, and I start to feel like I'm being followed. I'm getting shivers all the way up and down my spine just thinking about this. And I start to feel like I'm being followed, but there's nobody there. Nobody physically there. I can't hear any footsteps. So I get to the upper lookout, and it's almost like I felt that somebody was standing in the shadows just before the lookout when I went to look at the waterfall. They were just standing there waiting for me to come back into the forest. And so I said, as I walked back into the forest, I said, "You are not welcome in my space. You are not welcome to follow me or come with me in any shape or form." So I feel that's important to assert your space and just make sure to put that energy out there. As I walked down the path, I made it to the lower lookout of Myra Falls. It's a very beautiful place. The big cascading waterfall comes down into this really deep green colored pool. And all these rocks around are very interestingly colored because they all have jasper in them of some variety. It's a very beautiful place. And so I walk out to this big rock ledge. There's several levels. It actually goes out to this lake right here, just up that way further, up the lake. This big waterfall. So I was sitting on this big rock ledge, and I managed to sit down and get comfortable and start to meditate. And I was sitting there meditating like this. I was doing an eyes closed meditation. Just breathing in the fresh air, focusing into the water. There was still a reasonable amount of light because it wasn't quite dusk It's kind of starting to get to be dusk at the lake now. The sun has set behind the mountains. But then there was still a bunch of light coming down. So I was eyes closed. And I heard so clearly in my head, a dark presence approaches. It was a very sudden change. I had my eyes closed, and everything got darker. Just in front of my vision, even though my eyes were closed. It was extremely creepy. So I opened my eyes, and I heard my mom's voice so clearly, "You need to get to the higher ground." And for those of you that don't know, my mom died in a car accident 6 years ago. And since then, she's been very active in my life through the physical, translating from spirit to physical, and showing me things and sending me guiding messages. So that came through very clearly from her. You need to get to the higher ground. So I took my stuff, and I noticed I had a timer set for 15 minutes for the meditation. And so I looked at my phone when I opened my eyes, and it was at exactly 3 minutes. Felt that was significant somehow. And so I grabbed my stuff and I hoofed it up the trail to the parking lot. And mind you, there was not a single other person there. I was all by myself down at Myra Falls, and I kept hearing this sort of disembodied whispering in the trees, where I repeated, "You are not welcome to come with me, and you are not welcome in my space, and you are not welcome to follow me." It took me only 3 minutes to go up to the parking lot too, and significantly enough, I guess, because you got the 3 minutes in the timer and then 3 minutes to get up to the parking lot. I don't think I've ever gone up that trail so fast. But that's the story of how I got extremely creeped out at Myra Falls. And there's a lot more. If you're interested, I have quite a few different stories of having what you might call a paranormal experience in the woods, or something thereof. I would describe it as paranormal if it has to do with spirits, though it's become normal to feel these entities around me as I become more sensitive in my energy. But yeah, if you're interested in paranormal experiences in the woods, I can share a few more. Just let me know in the comments below if this video interested you and you want to hear more about it. Thank you very much for watching, and subscribe if you want to see more nature content and more joy bringing from Nature Affinity. Enjoy another beautiful day in paradise. Peace.